So if you've been an NBA fan for at least a year, you've probably heard something like great offense beats great defense. And that's basically the intro for this video, because today's vid is pretty straightforward. I mean, more times than not, the best scorers in the league tend to be some of the best players. Maybe not always the best, but they're usually up there. So yeah, today we're just going to look at 5 of the best scorers in the upcoming 2021 NBA draft. Now this list is in order, and it's probably going to be really controversial because I'm not just going off how many points they average. That would be way too bland. I'm going off things like how they score, the efficiency, and just their offensive bag. How unguardable are they? And even a little bit of their potential at being a high level scorer in the league. So yeah, go ahead and comment y'all's list below. And before I go any further, what's up YouTube? Plug Speaks back with a vid. If you are new, first of all, welcome, and go ahead and sub. Also like the vid if you enjoy. I drop bangers 3 to 4 times a week, and we are grinding for 5K, so I'd for sure appreciate it. I appreciate every single viewer. But back to the vid though. Now the 5th best scorer in this upcoming draft would have to be 6'5" Ayo Dosunmu from Illinois. And Ayo was a player who's well known at the college scene, but you don't hear his name much in NBA discussions, even though he could be such a valuable offensive piece. Now as far as his scoring numbers, he put up 20 points a game on 49% shooting from the field, 39% from 3, and 78% on free throws. And Dosunmu's playstyle just involves a lot of what you would want if you're drafting somebody as a scorer. He's aggressive. He had 4 30-point games this year, which is a lot in college basketball. And then he can shoot the 3. He's a bucket when driving to the rim, and almost shoots 80% when fouled. So yeah, he can really score. And to be honest, he could arguably be higher on the list, but he is a 3-year player, meaning he's a junior and will be a 21-year-old rookie, which isn't really a negative, but it lowers his ceiling in comparison to the other players on this list. Plus, it also means he had the most time to figure out the college game and how to dominate in the NCAA, while these other players were just as successful but in less time. So that's my only knock against him, but the man's a first rounder, so he's winning regardless. But anyway, moving on to the 4th best scorer. We got 6'5" Tre Mann from the Florida Gators. And fun fact, he's about to be the best player to come from his school since Bradley Beal. And we all know how good Bradley Beal is. But yeah, Tre Mann is a really interesting prospect in general, because even though his numbers are good, you can tell he could have produced much more if his team had let him be more aggressive more often. I mean, this man only put up 12 shots a game and still managed to average 16 points, which again is solid, very solid for college, and it's mostly because of his efficiency. He shot 46% from the field, 40% from 3, and 83% on free throws. And the way Tre gets his points is so similar to guys like CJ McCollum or even Devin Booker that you can just tell his game will translate to the NBA. He can score off the dribble, he's got a cold step back, he's good off spot ups, and he's a prime example of how basketball has changed, because some of his shots are from well beyond the usual 3-pointer. The only possible knock could be the lack of contact he draws on drives, because he does average the least amount of free throw attempts of everybody on this list. But besides that, there's not really much you can say. This man Tre Mann is just a bucket. Now the 3rd best scorer on this list is 6'4" Cam Thomas from LSU. He led the freshman class in scoring, and if I made this list going solely off points, he would be number 1 because he averages 23, which is the most of anyone in the vid. However, some things we'll get into sort of make that seem less impressive. But first, I'ma highlight the good. Cam Thomas is a really aggressive player, and many experts describe him as a natural scorer, because he gets to his spots pretty effortlessly, and he knows exactly how to draw contact not only around the rim, but also on jumpers, which is very annoying to defend. Plus, he shot well on free throws at 88%, and that was with an average of almost 8 attempts per game. Also, like most great scorers, when he gets hot, he is unguardable with capital letters. I mean, he honestly might be the most likely player to drop 20 or more in a quarter out of everyone in the draft, because he stays aggressive and makes pretty much everything when he gets going. Whether it's a deep three, the mid-range, around the rim, he's just got it. However, on the flip side, his shooting is very streaky, and if he's cold, he'll probably stay cold. And you can see that in his shooting percentages. He shot 40% from the field and 32% from 3, which definitely isn't really ideal. And overall, he's sort of a make or miss prospect, because scoring is the only exceptional attribute he's shown. But then again, if you're going to be good at something, scoring is definitely the attribute you want to go with, and that's basically Cameron Thomas. But now for the second best scorer in this upcoming draft, we got 6'8" Cade Cunningham from Oklahoma State. And to be honest, I struggle to put Cade this high on the list, because even though most of us see him being taken as the #1 pick, I really don't see him as some major scorer. I more so see him as a playmaker, which is kind of ironic because the numbers make him seem terrible at playmaking. But yeah, there's no way I cannot put him in this vid, because even though I don't think of scoring when I hear his name, both his stats and his play show he's a beast on offense. Not to mention, he dropped a 40 piece this year and was one of the only freshmen to do so. And again, 40 points is huge in college basketball. But yeah, overall, he put up 20 points a game on 44% shooting from the field and 40% from 3. Mind you, that 40% from 3 came off 6 attempts per game, so the shooting percentages already make him look great, but his actual play and how he scores is just as impressive, because not only can he hit threes when spotting up and off the dribble, but he also takes advantage of his 6'8" build and sometimes just uses post-up moves and backs his defender down for a bucket. Not to mention, his drives are really effective because he either scores or gets fouled more times than not, evidenced by his 6 free throw attempts per game. So yeah, I mean, obviously he's up there as far as scorers. And I'll go ahead and say, do not be surprised if this translates to the NBA, because he's not a one-trick pony. That man is versatile on offense. But now for the #1 scorer in the draft, meaning the best player at getting buckets in this upcoming NBA draft. We got Jalen Green from the G League, and this was probably predictable, but if you are surprised, I don't understand why. I mean, as far as stats, Jalen Green went up against players mostly older than him and put up 18 points a game on efficient shooting splits. And the fact that he shot 37% from 3 on almost 6 attempts per game is a great look, especially because remember, he was shooting from the NBA 3 farther than the college 3, and he did this right after shooting from the high school 3 for several years. I mean, what else is there to say? Because as far as his actual moves and abilities, we should all know Jalen Green's finishing ability is up there with the absolute best. And then his handle might not be the strongest, but it's not like he's getting ripped by defenders left and right. He can still take most players off the dribble and get what he wants. So yeah, there's not really much to say. He put up 30 a game as a senior in high school at a well-known academy for a reason, and he's gotta be the best scorer in the draft. But yeah, that pretty much wraps this video up. Definitely let me know how y'all feel about this list in the comments, and comment your own list if you want. But yeah, I appreciate y'all watching. As always, like this sub, share it, sub if new, all of that, and I'm out.